Yes, now, people, welcome back to the James Redmond live stream. I'm not going to speak like that. I'm going to go back to the Scouse accent. What's going on, people? A lot of people asking for my predictions for the semi-final between Brentford and Tottenham. Speaking of which, I will be joining Expressions on his live stream watch along, so make sure you're there and make sure you're square. Let me just see something. There we go, boss. Right, welcome to the live stream. Big up Real United, always doing his job. He supports a team that we shouldn't really like, but he does a great job on this stream. Big up everyone that is in the live stream here tonight, people. If you didn't see the first episode of the LFC Talk Show, it's basically where we just talk about things going on around the club, little bits of news, but also just things, you know, when things are going wrong and you want to find a solution for them. Kind of one of them. We're going to talk about the Southampton game. In fact, I've got a little brief here, mate. Shout out, there's 50 people already here, so make sure you're smashing the like button. The things we're going to talk about today is Liverpool, and I understand the transfer show was earlier, and I could have saved this for the transfer show tomorrow. However, I thought it was going to be a good little mention in this show to interact with you, basically, because that's what this show is for. And it's about Liverpool contacting David Alaba, and we'll talk about it more in a bit, but that's one of the things we're going to talk about. Liverpool, apparently not ongoing talks with Wijnaldum as well in terms of a contract situation, so we'll get onto that. They'll be the first two things we talk about, but we'll also touch on yesterday's game versus Southampton and a few other things as well. As for the Brentford Tottenham game, I want to say it's going to be a Spurs win, and I feel like they're going to probably win comfortably. I'm looking at a 4-1 type of result here for Tottenham. I think they'll have too much for Brentford. And without rambling on about Tottenham, I feel like the quality in that team, even the depth, whether they're starting a Gareth Bale over it, or a Lucas Moura, or a Son, or a Kane, whether they get rest, it doesn't matter. They've got the quality there to beat Brentford, and this is a massive, massive game. Expressions will speak for that. Anyway, big up to everyone. Richard is here saying going to do a James 5-0 Spurs. Taking the piss, taking the absolute piss. Shout out to Realist as well, mate. Genie Barca and Mo Real situation messing up right now. Listen, Mark, there's loads of little weird rumours going around the club, as there always is. Let's be honest, that's just what happens with Liverpool Football Club from time to time. Make sure you're smashing the likes, people. We're going to be on this show for about 30 to 40 minutes, and then join me on Expressions YouTube channel. Anyway, we're going to talk about Alaba first, and how Liverpool have apparently contacted the centre-back from Bayern Munich, the Austrian centre-back from Bayern Munich, according to Fabrizio Romano. Basically, Real Madrid are the lead runners to get David Alaba at the minute, but apparently Liverpool are one of 5 clubs to be in talks and to have made contact with him. Now, I've basically just asked the question, and I want to present that question to you. Would you take David Alaba? And if you ask me, would I take David Alaba? Of course, I certainly would. Let me tell you, why wouldn't you take David Alaba if it was offered to you? Let me give you a few brilliant logistical reasons to why I think Liverpool will most certainly, or Liverpool should most certainly go out and look at an option like Alaba. And I've said this for months, so don't think I'm saying this out of nowhere. We've been indirectly linked with Alaba for a while now. It would be a great option. One, because he's reliable. He's not known to get injuries left, right and centre, and that's what Liverpool need right now. But another thing, let's talk about versatility. When you talk about the main players in a team or in a squad, and you look at players like a James Milner, shout out to Lewis P in the chat, by the way, but you look at someone like James Milner, who, even though maybe his ability might not be the greatest out there and might not be better than Messi or Ronaldo, James Milner is probably in some aspects just as important to a squad as a Mane or a Mo Salah, because when he needs to step in, 2016 season, when he's playing left back, do you think if Moreno plays that position, we go on to do as well as we do? No, it's because James Milner put in a shift, and you need them type of players in your squad. And when you bring up David Alaba, this is a player that wouldn't just slot in for centre-back, because I heard this mentioning about, but when we buy this centre-back, Liverpool aren't going to want to give him first-team football for when Van Dijk and Gomez comes back. Here's how David Alaba solves that problem. For when we're running low on centre-backs, put him centre-back. When we're running low on left-back, say if Robbo's out, put him left-back. And if we're running low on midfielders, put him CDM. Why? Because he can play there. Do you hear what I'm saying, people? Do you know what I mean? I really feel like this would do nothing but make sense if Liverpool were to go in for it. But like I said, Real Madrid are the front runners. Rumours are that Alaba has came out and said that that will be that's Alaba's dream destination to go to Real Madrid. And let's be honest, it's not really a surprise because everyone's dream to some aspect, unless you're a local Scouse lad like me or a young kid from Manchester, you might want to play for your local club. That being said, these players look at Real Madrid and Barcelona, and that's the main attraction for them. So maybe this one will fall through the hands of Liverpool, but it would be something really, really good to get the deal done. Let me know what you think in the chat as well. Anyway, big up Dan James. I don't look like Dan James. This isn't right. You know what I mean? That's what football makes you, versatile. I mean, German football. Yeah, that's very true. German football. The thing is about their footballers, they're actually good on the ball. Even when I went to Berlin, we trained with it was like a sort of local team around there, but they were really, really good. And they had a training session, and I went there to see my mate Vincent, who's German, and we went into the training session, and basically what they were doing, they were like switch, and it's not like an academy, but it was like sort of, there were scouts there to see them the following games, to take them into an academy, possibly if they were good enough. Anyway, what they were doing in training is every 5 minutes they'd be playing a certain formation and a certain team, and then they change. So someone would go to a right back from previously playing centre mid, and it weren't tactical. It was a genuine right, you're going to play in this position, then this position, then this one, and they wanted them to keep changing to keep them sort of the minds at work and whatnot. And I'm sure they do this in England as well. I'm not saying it's just a German thing, but even when I used to play local football and whatnot, mate, Sunday league football, it weren't really like that to that extent. So yeah, you've got a really good point there. Anyway, enough on Alaba. Let's talk about Wijnaldum. This is one that I keep talking about. I mentioned it on the transfer show earlier. I mentioned it on yesterday's transfer show. I've mentioned it on 888 earlier on as well. So I'm sick of talking about this situation with Wijnaldum, because I love him. I will pay him however much money he needs, however much money he'd want to be satisfied at the moment. If you don't know, he's on around 75,000 a week in terms of his current contract. But according to The Athletic, David Ornstein from The Athletic, he says that there are no ongoing talks in terms of the situation, the contract situation of Gini Wijnaldum. Now, what that means is not that Liverpool and Gini Wijnaldum aren't talking about a contract no more. It's just on pause, and it's one of them things. It's devastating to hear, but that's just how negotiations go. Liverpool are trying to get what's best for them. Gini's trying to get to what get which is what is best for him. And yeah, if Liverpool let this player go for free, because in case you don't know, Gini Wijnaldum is more than free to go and speak to any club that he likes. Obviously, recently he's been linked with Arsenal. I don't think that'd be a move for him. However, it's still one of them. It's a possibility if Liverpool don't act quick, because Gini Wijnaldum, you can see, he just loves to play football and he wants to be there. He wants to work hard. But if he hasn't got a position and if he hasn't got a direction to go forwards with, then how can you expect him to, in most aspects, just perform? And not only perform, but not be looking elsewhere, because he doesn't even feel like he's most wanted at Liverpool. Not from the fans. I'm sure he feels it from the fans, but from higher up. Jurgen Klopp has came out and said he wants him. This is all to do with Edwards and FSG. It's financial, people, and Liverpool need to get this done, because if everything that I've just mentioned about David Alaba there, and I would take David Alaba, I think he'd be perfect in terms of a squad player. Don't know if he'd get into the starting 11, but as a squad player, perfect for times like now when we've got all these injuries. Gini Wijnaldum, however, he's a very similar type of player. He's versatile. He can do many different things. He can attack. He can defend. He does two different roles for Liverpool and the Netherlands. He does two different roles. For Liverpool, he's one to really keep the ball and just kind of spray it between the midfield, not really do anything too crazy. Don't need to make too many mad risks. Don't need to take on players. You don't need to shoot. This is what Jurgen Klopp's saying to Gini Wijnaldum. You don't need to shoot. Shooting's overrated. Passing, that's what you need to do. Not the long ones, though. Only the short ones. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's what he gets told to do for Liverpool, but for Netherlands and for old clubs like Newcastle and PSV and whatnot, he was a very free attacking player and was very, very good at doing it, mate. Are you mad? Alaba and Van Dijk would be your centre-back partnership. Alaba would never go Liverpool and be doing up bench. But this is what I'm saying, Realist United. We only need Alaba, or if we were to bring in Alaba, we would only need him for a short space of time, because let's be honest, he's not getting into our team even when all of our centre-backs are fit. If Matip's fit, I think he starts above Alaba If Matip's fit, I think he starts above most centre-backs. But that's if buts maybes, fella. And it's like Joe Gomez, I feel like he is most certainly the long-term option in terms of centre-back, but he's out for another year. So why can't we go out and get a David Alaba right now? And even with centre-backs coming back, we can still use Alaba in many different case scenarios. Off the bench, not even off the bench. I hear what you're saying, realistic in terms of he's not a bench player, but he could still have a place in the Liverpool team and still get a lot of minutes. That's the one thing I could say and could offer to him for sure. And it's the same case with Wijnaldum. That's what he gives to our team. That's what he gives to our Alaba is absolutely quality, I agree, and so is Wijnaldum. And that's why I'm speaking about these players in this regard, not just because of what they do in the position that they're told to do, but they can fill in other roles. It's why I'm growing admiration for Fabinho game by game, because he's really stepped into that centre-back role, and even seeing Henderson and whatnot step into that role, we know it's not an easy job to do. So definitely keep your eyes out on that one, people. I'll keep you updated with that news over the next couple of days, the Genie contract situation for sure. Make sure you're smashing a like. We are 10 minutes in. Not going to be a proper long stream because, like I said, I'm going to be on Expressions live stream after this. I'm not sure. It'll be about half an hour to 40 minutes. Might even just be half an hour. But, you know, the LFC talk show, we done the first episode the other week. Also, before I continue, if you would like to become a member, then you can click the link in the description. And basically, it simply helps out the channel. It supports the channel in the sense that what you bring into the channel, I will reinvest back into it. Obviously, I want to make the content much better for you. And that's simply the reason why the memberships are there. Obviously, of course, over time, I want to bring exclusive content for those who become members of the channel. It's a new thing that I've just brought. So obviously, anything that you can do to help is massively appreciated. That being said, a like and a subscribe is more than enough, yeah? So make sure that you have done that if you haven't already. Anyway, Liverpool and Southampton, the game that I didn't really want to talk about, the game that I didn't want to lead into, and the game that I never really want to think about ever again. And I'm happy. This is why I'm happy I'm going on other channels and watching other games, mate, because it does kind of give me a little bit of time to just forget about everything that's going on with Liverpool and the bad form that we're in. But now we're jumping back into it to dive into the deepest things of what is wrong with Liverpool. And obviously that's the title of this video. How does Liverpool fix this bad form? First off, the first point I've made is, before I go on a tangent about Liverpool, I want to give Southampton the respect they deserve, because I feel like, especially amongst Liverpool fans, and I'm a massive Red. However, I also like to bring in the neutral side of things when it comes to being on camera, because I'm also a football fan, and I am not going to doubt if Southampton play fantastic. I do know my team, I know my team can play better than what we did, but Southampton were brilliant and we fell right into their hands, and that's not their fault. They done everything they needed to do, and you know what? I'm happy for Danny Ings. I'm made up for him, mate, because it's one of them things at Liverpool. When we signed him, I remember that summer that we signed him, and I said he will be the best signing for Liverpool in however long, probably since like a Suarez or a Torres, because of what he's going to offer to our team. And I probably, and I think you'll agree with me, would have been proven right if it weren't for injuries. That's why I was happy for him. I'm never happy to see a player score against my club. That's not the point that I'm trying to make. But even the way that he went about it, he was respectful. You know, yes, he has a little smile, but he never proper went for it like he could have. No saltiness, no bitterness. I love Danny Ings, man. You know, you could say he scored instantly, couldn't you? Mate, banter. I saw that and I felt like crying when I did, because I actually thought it was funny, but it was just as he scored. So I was like, yeah, mate, I'm not going to laugh at that in the moment, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, just before I carry on talking about the game, I don't want you to think that I was disrespectful or am being disrespectful to Southampton's great performance yesterday. A wise man once said 5-0 Liverpool. Once said, a couple of times I've said that, and it hasn't came true. Listen, mate, I always say big scorelines. My team is boss. I am going to say big scorelines when I feel like we can win a game. And if we were on form, we could have won it 5-0. Just we weren't on form. If buts maybes, isn't it realistic? Anyway, I need to talk about Trent, and I need to talk about him now, because I am not oblivious to the fact Trent is in bad form, and that's fine. I even went on a show yesterday, my own and other people's channels, and I've said Trent at the moment is not good enough. And there's even questions that's being floating about, oh, should Nico come back into the team? And I actually don't think that's a bad idea. Trent is in really bad form right now, so I don't want you to think I'm disputing that. He's been shit. However, when I see I expect the reaction from neutrals, when I see Man United fans and Arsenal fans and Chelsea fans saying, oh, he's shit, I get it because that's the rivalry. However, when I see fellow Liverpool fans, fellow Reds, and I don't associate myself with these, so it's all right, but it's still one of them things. When I see these fans coming out and abusing Trent Alexander-Arnold in the aspects that they're abusing him, not just being constructive, but massive, like, we're talking about a fellow Scouser, and even if you're not Scouse, if you're a Liverpool supporter, you will still have some sort of connection towards Scousers, I feel, bar a few, because you know, we're around the club. We are the club in a sense. I'm not saying I'm more than you. I'm not saying that at all. Don't get it twisted. I'm just saying, when you think of Liverpool, you also associate them with Scousers. And Trent, when a player comes through and they're Scouse, even if you're not Scouse, it means more to you because he's homegrown and you know he wants to grab the game by the balls. People for years have said this is our future captain. And I agree. However, now that it's gone wrong for him a slight bit, I'm seeing abuse on Twitter. That doesn't help the player if he sees it. And I know I'm not saying like, oh, think about Trent's feelings. I'm not saying that. But also back your fucking right back. Back your player who's been the best right back in world football, arguably, over the past couple of seasons. Offensively, another level. And I understand defensively needs to get much better if he wants to certify himself as the best right back in the world. But don't just forget the season that he had last year. Obviously, it's about here right now in the present. But don't just forget the season he had last year and how great he was and how much he actually improved from the season previous. This is a kid who's 21. He has been in 2 Champions League finals. In one of them finals, which we lost, he was brilliant in that game. And then a year later, he goes on to win it. Oh, and then wins the Premier League. Oh, and by the way, he's a massive, massive essential part to us winning it. So for anyone who's coming out, I am not saying it's wrong to be constructive in terms of criticism when it comes to Trent Alexander-Arnold. I said it for Adrian. I said Adrian has no place in being in that goal. But the thing is, though, you're having a go at him. You want him to be a level that he's just not. The difference is Trent is that level. The only similar comparison here is that they were both getting abuse that was not called for whatsoever. That was the only thing, people. And I don't like it when Liverpool fans do this because there is quite a few. And there's more. And I've seen more than what I actually think you would. That being said, it's mate, fact, not opinion. Trent is still the best right back in the world. He's just having an average season. He needs to improve. Just a bad patch. Many other players are in bad form. That's it, my mate. And you know what? You're probably being nice by saying an average season. He's had a shit season. Let's not get it twisted. Trent has been poor in many, many games this year. So don't think I'm getting that twisted. Yesterday, diabolical in terms of performance as a footballer. But that doesn't mean I'm going to start going towards his family. That doesn't mean I'm even going to... Because that's too far anyway. I don't even know why I brought that up. But I'm not even then going to start saying, oh, you shouldn't wear the shirt no more. Oh, you shouldn't be our right back. I hear people saying we need to go and get a new right back. Are you taking the piss? Are you taking the piss? Are you taking the Idrissa Gana? What do you mean we need to go out and get another right back? 5 seconds ago, he was the best right back in the world. Flip-flop, not proper fans. And I don't appreciate it, mate. This is our player. And it actually upsets me. I don't think this should happen to anyone. That's why I brought up Adrian before. But this should certainly not happen to a homegrown lad who knows what this club is about. You don't get these often, mate. You don't get these fucking warriors often. And Trent is a warrior. You can see he wants it more than most players on that pitch. And all them players want it most of the time when wearing the Liverpool shirt. But Trent just wants it more. Best right back in world football for me. Not right now. I don't clip up any of my words. I have just said... I don't care if you clip me up, but you know what I'm trying to say. I've just said Trent has had a terrible season, been one of the worst right backs in the league, because offensive only gets you so far. If you're performing bad defensively, then that's the big issue. However, offensively, he's another level, and that's what puts him in that bracket. And modern day fullback, there's not many better. And when he's performing, there's not many better. So that's the thing. And people are looking at his defence now and saying he's shit defensively. Last season, he had many games where he was certainly, at the very least, a 7 out of 10 defensively. But then that coincides with his 10 out of 10 offensively. It's just weird the way fans work and get their brains flowing sometimes. It really, really does. Another player that I want to talk about yesterday, I feel like I've covered Trent quite enough there. Very interested to see what you've got to say in the comments down below. In fact, before we do, we'll get a few comments on the situation. Trent is always performing going forward, but as soon as he doesn't, you need to be criticised. That's the thing, Bruno FC. I am not saying criticism is the wrong thing in this case. It's not. It is absolutely fine to be constructive, to base a player off his own performance. However, when you're going further saying you're not our right back no more, and then going even further than that and going into family, like, come on, mate, before you were, I'm not saying you, Bruno, because you might be a Man United fan, because Bruno FC. However, if you're a Liverpool fan watching this and you're one of them people, 5 minutes ago, you would have most certainly been saying he's the best right back in the world. So don't even chat to me when it comes to it. I can't not like Arnold. Bit of a slow start, though, for him. That's the thing. And that's just this season. It's this season. Loads of players, some of the best players you have ever seen, wearing any shirt. I've had bad one-off seasons. It happens to the best of us. This is a generational talent in Trent Alexander-Arnold, and I'm fine with you clipping that up. Every player goes through a rough patch. Top five. Oh, do the five. Lewis says Trent is only having a dry patch with majority of players having their career. Another thing I want to mention actually is that could contribute to Trent's bad form is the fact Van Dijk isn't there. When you've got a leader and a presence in Van Dijk, it makes a massive difference. And Van Dijk was massive for Trent's development. But another reason why I think Trent was poor yesterday individually, in terms of a performance, was because Hendo went in the midfield. And I'm not going to start doing Hendo Nino, but just notice that when Hendo isn't in that midfield, notice what we're missing. And you saw it yesterday, because he can't do that job in the midfield if he's playing centre-back. So people are saying Hendo had a shit game. He was actually probably the best centre-back in the game. Well, on par with Fabinho. I can't really say any of them had a terrible game. None of them were great also. But you saw what we were missing in that midfield. Even with Thiago there, you saw what we were missing. It's mad. It's like the disrespect of Henderson also helps him, because it's like yesterday, Southampton are marking 3 men on Thiago to cancel him out the game. If that's Henderson, they're not even worried about Hendo. They're not putting 3 men on Jordan. Are you mad? They're not doing that. They don't feel the need. They don't need to waste that energy. But that's why he's actually really, really good. He's massive to our teammates, and I'm not going to go on a tangent about Hendo Nino, but he elevates the players around him. And if he was playing in midfield yesterday, I'm not saying Trent plays well, because he's played a lot of bad games with Hendo there, but he plays better, is what I'm trying to offer to you. Another player I want to talk about, though, is Alisson. Let's talk about Alisson Becker. Listen, mate, and people laugh at me when I say this, and I'm surprised that they laugh at me so much with such ferocity, but Alisson's the best goalkeeper in the world, and I'll give you reasons to why I can counter that. Let's talk about a goalkeeper who's came into, at the moment, top 2 best clubs in the world. Not in form, like I said, but overall, based on trophies won, us and Bayern Munich, I think you can comfortably say that. So Alisson has came from Roma to us. He's got us to... Well, actually, we lost the Champions League final with Karius. We brought Alisson in, then we go on to win the Champions League final. Oh, by the way, we would have got knocked out of the group stage that year that we won it if it weren't for Alisson, the group stage. So just think about that. So he's actually won us a trophy in his own right, and he actually had a very, very good game in the Champions League final. So I'm going to say he was the biggest factor of us winning the Champions League that year, especially when you saw what was the biggest factor to us losing the Champions League the year previous. But let's also talk about what he does in the Prem. Let's talk about the most clean sheets in his first 2 seasons in the Premier League, above Ederson, who I know is a bit shaky right now, but at the time was a very close debate. Now there's no question who the best goalkeeper in the league is. David De Gea, he's came back into form, but on form, off foot, David De Gea is not a better goalkeeper than Alisson. And the only thing that actually fucked up Alisson yesterday was the fact that he was too confident in too many situations. Way too many situations. And that was my issue. Other than that, mate, I'm still going to say he's the best goalkeeper in the world. But that's why I want to bring to the point. I'm so surprised of how poor he was at times yesterday. Didn't have a lot to do. Obviously, the Danny Ings shot, I don't really think he could have done much about it. But even after that, you're giving balls away. And then at the end of the game, when we're trying to run back and get back into it, you're running out to the halfway line to get a tackle. Like, I know you're confident and I know you're very good at what you do, but also be very, very careful, my mate. Be very, very careful when it comes to certain things. People are asking me this, are you joining X right now? I will be joining X when this show finishes in about 10 minutes or so. It's going on a bit longer than what I actually thought. Oblak is the best goalkeeper in the world, never puts a foot wrong, not injury prone either. Actually, when you put it in that aspect, them type of things probably would put Oblak above Alisson. That being said, I think Alisson's the best goalkeeper in the world of when he's playing. Now, you're right, reliability and whatnot comes into it. I'm not saying you're wrong for saying Oblak. I'm only giving you my opinion. Maybe a bit of bias comes with that, but I've also never saw a goalkeeper this good and this well-rounded like Alisson, because you mentioned well-rounded. Alisson's perfectly well-rounded. And you also notice how much you're missing when he's not in the team, which is another big factor. Wait, let me go on to this one. When Liverpool fans are saying we need a centre-back, what you're going to do when you buy a centre-back and then Gomez and Van Dijk come back. I've been saying this for a while, Archie. We can get a centre-back that can fit our needs right now. Doesn't have to be, James, you're a bit delusional, bro. Fair enough. If you want to say I'm delusional, I still think he's the best centre-back in the world. You can say Neuer over a longer period of time. Yeah, Neuer. But right now on form, I think it's Alisson. Maybe people can jump at me against that. But anyway, you were mentioning Liverpool fans, and if we get a centre-back, then what does that mean? I'll tell you what that means. If we go out and get a Sven Botman, for example, that's who I've been saying Liverpool should go out and get, 20-year-old centre-back from Lille. He fits the needs in terms of he can come into a team now and he's better than the options we've got, because Matip isn't reliable. Nat Phillips and Reece Williams aren't ready to be a regular starter for Liverpool. However, he's been playing first-team football for Lille. He'd come into our team. He's a left-footer. He's Dutch. He's played for the first team of Netherlands. So he's not just some unknown quantity. He's coming in. He's 20 to 25 million. Financially, not a headache. Lille are in financial struggle. So right now, he come in to be a better player. And not only that, when Virgil van Dijk and Gomez come back into the team, he's there to compete with them. Who's to say he can't get above Gomez? Gomez is really good, but he has many shaky games. And if a centre-back came in and took the game by the horns off his own performance, he could go above Gomez. Not Van Dijk, but Gomez, very much certainly. I don't think Gomez is bad, but there's centre-backs out there that could get above him, putting in a consistent run of games. So that's how I answer your question, my mate. But anyway, to end off talking about the Southampton-Liverpool game, I think we just need to come to the conclusion that it's simply a one-off. Not a one-off. This run of form is just one of them things. Like, a month ago, right, it was Chelsea within the title race, Man City were in the relegation zone. And I'm very right, not relegation zone, but they weren't in the title race. Arsenal, the ones who were in the relegation zone, was in the relegation zone. But Man City, they were sitting there mid-table, getting a few draws, dropping points against teams they really shouldn't have been. And they weren't in the title race no more. But us, Chelsea and Spurs, always in the title race. That's what people were saying. Not me. I always said don't count out City. But that's what people were saying and trying to offer to us. Anyway, now City, a month later, City are back in the title race. Chelsea aren't in the title race. And Liverpool are apparently going through this big, massive thing that might take us out the title race. It's just a bad run of form. How else can you put it down? We're playing bad. I've admitted it. Go and watch me into the match reaction. I'm not just a fan who will always say, we're boss this, we're boss that. We are boss. We are fucking amazing. But we have not been boss recently, at home or away. The only games that I can think of is Wolves, we were amazing. Leicester, we were amazing. And who else? Palace. Other than that, we've been pretty shite or pretty average, to say the very least. So I'm not disputing any of that. However, to just say Liverpool are now, like, the end of our 2-year run is over. Do people actually realise how many injuries we've got? And then you bring up City's fucking injuries from last year. It's such a stupid comparison. You had one centre-back out and you still spend dough. And we still spend dough, but we spend 60 million in the summer previous. You spend that on one player most of the time. If you're a Manchester City supporter, you do. Because I'm just saying this if you're coming at me, because people bring up money and people bring up this and that. It's like, mate, we have got a great squad and a lot of them have been out this season. First team players, second team players, youth team players. And we're still joint top. Like, we're still actually top. Man United have got a game in hand, but we're doing this with all these issues. It's like our squad is actually a lot better than people give credit for. Otherwise, we wouldn't be where we are. We're just having one of them run of forms, mate, in my opinion. Anyway, before we round up the video, people, because we are going to be finishing up soon, then I'm going to be jumping on Expression's YouTube channel. So make sure you're there, yeah. We're going to talk about LeBron James and Kylian Mbappe, who basically switched their profile photos for each other. So LeBron James made Kylian his profile photo, and Mbappe did the same with LeBron James. Now, if you don't know, LeBron James has like a percentage ownership of Liverpool, a very small minority ownership. However, basically reports are making this into a thing, aren't they? Because he owns a little bit of Liverpool. Liverpool are linked with Mbappe. These two are now doing a little deal together because basically Mbappe and LeBron are making like I think it's a new shoe brand, or not a new shoe brand, like they're bringing out a new shoe together. And people are putting 2 and 2 together and making 10. So I thought I'd mention that because it's actually quite a little interesting thing. I looked it up for myself. I went on their Instagrams and it was actually a fact. But anyway, I thought I'd mention that. Don't think there's anything to look into though. Anyway, for some fun, one dream signing and one realistic signing. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the live chat. I'm very interested. Before we round up, I'm very interested to hear what you've got to say. One dream signing and one realistic signing. If you ask me, a dream signing, I'd have to say LeBron James. LeBron James, that's funny. Anyway, one dream signing, who would I say is a dream signing? People are... Now, this is probably my one. Samu, this is my one. Erling Haaland, you'll get your goals. It is what it is. Your brother is waiting. Tell him I'll be there in 1 second. Tell him I'll be there and tell him I'll be square, yeah? Grealish, I'd love Grealish at Liverpool. He would be brilliant. He would be brilliant. Grealish is a different level. I actually gave Grealish a lot of disrespect a couple of months ago and I've ate my words wholeheartedly and I've realised that, mate. Yeah, I'm going to say if I had a dream signing, and Balotelli, Sancho, shout, Kimmich, he'd be great, Kimmich, oh my goodness, imagine. Yeah, my dream signing would be Haaland. And if you're talking a realistic signing, I've been putting the argument forward for Sven Botman. So I'd love Sven Botman. Anyway, people, I'm going to end the show there. Make sure you have smashed the likes. We have ended this stream on nearly 400 people here. And now we're going to go over to Expression's channel and do the watch along with him. I believe they have kicked off, haven't they? Spurs and Brentford. I'm not sure if that's the case. No, yes, okay, no, they're kicking off in 5 minutes. So, yeah, I'm going to go now, people. Nice one for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video.